You know, you said it was a no-brainer for fight of the night for Lawler and McDonald, and obviously it was a great fight, but you know, the Stevens and Bermuda's fight was unbelievable.
I agree.
I
agree, but what I take into account in that fight, if you look at Rory McDonald, nose was broken in the first round. Couldn't breathe, couldn't see, continued to fight, right? And it's looking like a one-sided clinic. Then he hurts Robbie Lawler, right? Then he follows up with like 10 head kicks to the head and doesn't finish Lawler. Lawler hangs in there and makes it through that. Then I had it 2-2 going into the 5th round. The judges had it 3, and other people that I talked to in the back had it 3. I'm not a judge, so who gives a shit what I think, but I had it 2-2 going into the last round, but both guys had to feel like I have to win this last round. Both guys unbelievably hurt, and then you see the outcome. Robbie Lawler's lip. If you could have been in the octagon and saw this lip, okay? He would talk and this part of the lip would move and the other part wouldn't, right? What's his name nose was broken. They asked him when Rory got out back, they said what year is it? He didn't know what year it was. You know what I mean? It was a complete display. First of all, it was a war and a complete display of chin, heart, grit, dogged determination, and the will to win from both guys. I mean, when you talk about fight, like I said, fight ever, that's what I'm talking about.
And I guess, you know, my question was going to be this was such a great fight. There were so many great fights. Is this the greatest series of fights you ever saw, you know, starting with Almeida going one after the other after the other?
Yeah.
I mean, even Matt's fight was
the main card. And the first, the headliner on the prelims and the main card were without a doubt. Matt kicked it off, and then it just went zoom, you know.
In the first round, you know, he landed a couple shots on you. How heavy were his hands? You know, I mean, were his hands, you know, when you early in the fight, was he a heavy-handed guy?
I mean, I think more than anything, he's accurate, and I think that's what plays into the I guess the success he has with his punches. But I mean, nothing really was like overwhelmingly powerful, but I mean, he's got power, but like I said, he's more accurate, I'd say, than anything.
And then you touched on it a little bit when you talked about, you know, you decided to go for the finish as opposed to keep dropping the elbows. When you were dropping the elbows, could you feel him weakening? Did you feel like, you know, he was seriously hurt because he was cut from the eye? You landed 3 or 4 really big ones. Did you feel like maybe he was weakening at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, but I mean, you got to give it to him. The guy didn't stop talking shit the entire time. So, I mean, I was hitting him with everything I had, and the guy was still running his mouth. So, I mean, that's Connor, I guess.
Chad, what was some of the stuff that he was talking? Because you were right. I mean, throughout that fight, he kept talking to you. What was he saying?
I mean, I'd land a giant elbow on his face, and he'd say, "Is that all you got?" So just stuff like that.
So there still seems to be some indiscrepancy about the extent of Jose's injury from comments that you've made, and then reports from doctors. How do you feel about Jose moving forward, and how do you really move forward with a fighter and a champion in particular that's maybe acting defiant and has sort of missed out on what's the biggest fight of the year, essentially?
Yeah, everything that was reported out there is complete bullshit, is what it is. And I'm not talking about Jose Aldo anymore because the despicable, I don't even know what to call them, that work in this business and on some of these websites. It's one of these things where it's basically they lie about what I said, not what I said, turn it around, and then by the time it gets translated into Portuguese, it's even worse. You know what I mean? So it makes me sick, and I'm not going to say anything about Jose Aldo. I've never disrespected the guy in my life. I like Jose Aldo very much, his wife, his family, and I'm done. Not talking about Jose Aldo. When the Jose Aldo versus Conor McGregor is ready, we'll let you know. Other than that, don't even ask me about it. Is it? Or any of that shit, because there's a lot of people who just fucking lie, and I'm done with it.
Fair enough.
Cool. And that wasn't directed at you, but unfortunately, sir, you're the one that asked me that question.
Fair enough. And then for Gunnar, obviously you came in now for the first time off a loss. Can you talk about the training camp and getting back on track to win this fight, and sort of how you responded after the last fight against Rick Story?
What's the question?
My question is, how did you prepare this time coming in off your first loss? Something that you felt that's new.
Not too different from my other fights, There's some things that you work on for every fight, and there's a lot of things that I needed to work on after the Rick Story fight, We did that, and here I am.
Man of many words. Conor just outdrew everybody.
Yeah.
This is the biggest gate in U.S. history. 15 years of doing fights, this is the biggest gate ever. The gate was at 6.8 million leading up to Aldo's injury. We brought in Chad and then said that the fight was still on, and Chad took the fight, and this thing ended up getting up to almost $7.2 million. You know what I mean? The thing is that you have to understand here, I saw some, anyway, Jose Aldo is the only champion in the history of this division, in the history of the UFC, right? He hasn't lost in 10 years. He's defended his title 7 times, right? So the question becomes, look how big this thing was with Chad in it. What would it have done with Jose versus Conor? You know what I mean? We couldn't sit another person in this thing. Every ticket was sold, and we even added bleachers. The biggest gate ever.
Thanks.
Question over here for Jeremy Stevens. Right here. To a little bit. There you go. Congratulations on a tremendous fight tonight. Any other night, this fight would have been fight of the night. You probably would have got performance of the night. But can you walk us through how this fight played out? And my second question is, what made you choose Eazy-E for your walk-in music?
Well, it's not any other night either. He didn't make weight either. You got to remember that he did not make weight.
That's right.
Yeah, I made a small mistake. I paid for it. You know, I have a family to take care of, and unfortunately, I couldn't do it healthy enough, and I would have had it back out of the fight, but I wasn't going to do that. This is the biggest gate, like Dana said here, and I took my pay cut like a man. It's my responsibility. I'm held accountable, and I'm just glad I got the win bonus. As far as the fight goes, that was a great fight. I knew Dennis was going to be tough. He's going to be durable. I was going to hit him, knock him down. He's going to keep coming, and eventually, I just had to take it from him. Go in there and just take his heart.
And the Eazy-E walkout music, what made you choose that?
Because he's a gangster.
Thanks.
And I concur. I like the Eazy choice too.
And to that end, a question for Chad Mendez. Chad, obviously that second round was all yours right up until the end. You had top control throughout. A lot of times a wrestler as accomplished as yourself, when he has top position, has a real feel for the opponent on bottom, particularly if it's an opponent who hasn't been tested that way before. Did he feel calm to you? He appeared to be calm throughout. Did you have a feel, as you would compare that to other opponents, how he was on bottom?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not going to sit here and talk trash about Conor. He won the fight, but, I felt like I had complete control on top. I felt like, there wasn't a whole lot he could do when I was on top of him. I made the mistake by trying to go for a submission. I could have stayed there, and I probably should have, and just finished the round out like that. But, that's a mistake I made, and that's just how it goes. So, I don't know what else you want from that.
Let him get settled for a second. I actually had a question for you, Matt. We were talking in a pre-fight interview about your idea of the demotion to the prelims and resetting your mind and resetting your career. Was this the fight tonight that you wanted to have? Do you feel that this was the performance that really will deliver you, back on track to the title shots?
Well, I do believe it was somewhat of a demotion that was deserved. Obviously, I lost 2 in a row, so I deserved it. But yeah, to me personally, this was sort of a coming out fight. This was me getting back on track. This was me getting back to where I almost got to before. Just how the UFC rebranded, I rebranded myself tonight. I rededicated myself to the sport, and I am coming for that title 100%. I'm going to get that title, or I'm going to die trying.
And what were your thoughts on the Rory-Robbie fight?
Beautiful fight, and amazing fight. Both those guys are fucking warriors from beginning to end, and I love it, and those are the kind of guys I want to fight. I fought Robbie once. I think me and Hendricks are the only guys to go the distance with Robbie, so I know that I can be at that level. I know that I can win that fight, and I know that a lot of people want to see that fight because that's going to be another war, and me and Robbie, every single time we get in the cage, it's going to be a war, so I absolutely 100% want it, and I'm going to do everything I can to get it.
Great, thank you. Conor, question for you. How does it feel to have answered the wrestler question?
It's been a long road here. I
The question never really bothered me, that question, you know. I knew what I could do. I knew you cannot have a singular approach in this game. You must be free to fight in all forms. So, I feel if it's a fight to the death between two men and there is no clock, takedown does not matter. It's the efficient fighter who will prevail. So, I never really bothered about the question. My team knew what I was capable of. I knew when I hit him I would hurt him, and that was it.
Well, there were some rumors swirling before the fight that you may not have been 100% healthy now that it's over, now that you are victorious. Is there anything you can say about any injuries that were bothering you before the fight?
You know, I'm just going to let that be in the past, because there's no point bringing anything up really in my mind. I just know that I had a hell of a lot more wrong with me than a bruised rib, and I still showed up. I prepared for this camp essentially in the physical therapist realm. You know what I mean? So I had a lot to deal with this camp, on top of all the media. Everybody here, I love every single one of you people here, all the media, I'm grateful for every single one of you, but I am absolutely sick to death of you. I have done so much of it. So, but I don't know, I'm overwhelmed by what's happening right now, so I'm just trying to, my mind is in a million different places.
And last question for you, is you were taunting Chad a lot during the fight. You had your hands very low. What can you tell us about his power and how threatened you felt, if ever, during the fight?
I didn't feel threatened. He's probably one of the hardest hitters. Beside me, I think he's probably number 2 heaviest hitter in the division. He's certainly the best wrestler in the division. But honestly, they try and find holes. They try and find questions that I've yet to answer. They try and find something that's going to break me. The weight cut, the wrestler, I don't know. There's always something, but I always prevail, and I am always confident that I can take whatever these people give. I can walk through everything, and he hit me 1 or 2 maybe, but I felt absolutely nothing. He cut me above the eye from bottom with a little elbow, but other than that, they were glancing blows, and I was speaking to him in there. I knew I was being efficient here, and when my chance arose, I was gonna crack him with every shot I had, and I felt the body really broke him down, and then we put him away with a shot to the chin.
Thank you and congratulations.
Connor, back here to your right. You talked about this moment being a UFC champion since you arrived in the UFC, even before that. Now that it's here, now that that belt is sitting in front of you, can you just express what you're feeling, what that moment was in the cage, to have your name announced, to have that belt wrapped around you?
You know, I didn't really think what way I was going to react. I didn't know what way I was going to react, but when I put him away and then I jumped on the cage, and then my coach was like right there on the cage with me, and I was just looking around and everything, it overwhelmed me, and I came to tears. You know, it has been a hell of a ride. 2 years, just over 2 years I'm here. I've already broke every single record in the game, and it does not come easy. Trust me when I tell you, there's a lot of work involved. It's not just about showing up at the gym. It's not just about that, you know, there's a lot involved. I haven't been home. I've been home 19 days this year. I've been constantly working, constantly promoting, constantly handling my media obligations, as well as keeping on top of my weight, as well as keeping on top of my skill level, as well as managing niggling injuries. Just, it's a crazy game. And you know, I absolutely love it. I love this job, I love this game, I love this ride I'm on. And I am happy to have taken the gold. It would not matter if it was Jose or it was Chad. This was my belt, this was my night. Chad mauled Jose in their fight. I feel it was a back and forth, evenly fought fight, but I was never in any danger in that contest tonight, and I felt extremely confident. I spoke to him throughout every single exchange, that it was nothing. You're against a different animal now.
With everything that you just said about not being home very often, everything that came with this, and still loving it, we asked Dana earlier, do you have a timeline? Do you have a when you'd like to do this with Jose?
You know, I will talk, you know, right now, tonight I'm gonna toast good business, and it was damn good business. I said I would KO him with inside 2 rounds. I put a friendly little wager with my business partners on, and I succeeded in that friendly wager. So I'm gonna toast good business tonight. I'm gonna head out, I'm gonna celebrate with my country and with my team specifically. I want to give a shout out to my team that have been with me since day one. Everyone that's come up on this ride, and the people that came over to the Mac Mansion for 14 weeks out of their life and dedicated their whole life to me, and everyone that's been on this journey with me, we all stepped it up a notch here. So I honestly believe there is no such thing as self-made. I believe that is a term that does not exist, and for me it certainly doesn't. The people who've been around me my whole career have helped shape this moment, and this night and this moment is for them. So we will celebrate tonight. There are many exciting fights and exciting names coming up. I mean, Robbie Lawler was phenomenal. That Robbie and Rory fight was absolutely phenomenal. I must pay my respect to that. 2 absolute warriors took every shot and still came forward. I mean, this is what this sport is about. What a night of fighting, you know. So I'm just happy to close out the show on the sport that I love and introduce everyone that may have not seen it before, maybe a new audience. But this is our sport. This is the UFC, and this is as real as it gets.
Connor, tonight was about validation for you. Can you talk about the 2 defining moments of the fight? A, when you got up late in the second from that chokehold, it seemed like you may have said something to him, or at least gave him a look, and then also the devastating left to end the fight.
Yeah, you know, I felt I was hurting him on the feet early. I said to him right at the start, you know, because when we came fit, I have no ill feelings against Chad. The whole situation was weird to me because you throw in a guy that's 2 weeks out from a fight and it's a new guy, and then you have all his team talking all this kind of crazy stuff, and it was a weird situation. But I didn't really have any emotion towards Chad. It just happened to be what it was. So I felt like he was trying to sell the fight a little bit or build it up, but when we were coming to the weigh-in, I just wanted to go face to face. Let's just stand face to face and square off here. And he was bouncing around and clapping his hands, and Dana was separating us, and I said to Dana, let us just come face to face. Let's stand here and look me in the eye. But it didn't happen. So we left the stage, and I was thinking in my head, you know, he's playing the game here. He thinks it's a game, but really, this is no game here. And tomorrow, I said to myself after the weigh-in, I says, tomorrow night, there will be no bouncing around. We're going to be face to face, and we'll see then. So when we came face to face, I said to him, let's see who takes a back step now. Let's see who takes the first back step now. So I marched forward, and he took the first back step. And then that was the fight. Every shot he threw, I spoke to him. He has heavy shots. He's put people away, but I didn't feel nothing. I don't feel anything when these featherweights hit me. I feel like a concrete block. He secured 1 or 2 takedowns, but again, I knew the efficient man prevails in a fight to the death where there is no clock, no time limit. The man who is efficient is the man who prevails. So when I was on the mat, I was patient. I landed shots where I could. I stayed safe. He might have threw an overhand. He threw an elbow, split me on the eye. That was one. But then every other one was glancing. Every shot, I was like, That's what I kept saying. No. So I felt, I was preserving energy, being efficient, and then when the opportunity arose to go back to the feet, I attacked the gut. Them teeps to the gut, them side kicks to the gut. They don't look like much. To the naked eye, they don't look like much. Only me and him know about it. Only me and the opponent know about it. But they suck rounds out of you. So that's what happened. His body, he was searching for his gas tank, and I was stabbing him in the gas tank. And then the straight shots landed, the roundhouse, the spinning kicks. I felt the fight went exactly as I said it would, like they usually do.